If you're looking to quickly create an effective portfolio website so that you can start landing offers and accepting a job, then this is the portfolio review for you, because we're going to take a look at Sean Anderson's portfolio website. It's super clean, super simple, but also highly, highly effective because he used it to transition out of teaching into an instructional design role at an ed tech company in honestly a matter of like 3 months. So he did this very quickly. He joined the Storyline Project Lab and breezed through it, and then spent a couple of months in the bootcamp getting some feedback and support, and this is what he created. So if you're looking for inspiration, or you want to see what's something that could be fairly simple but also could help me like get the job, then you're going to be very interested in this. So here we are. This is Sean Anderson's homepage. I will link to the full site in the description. But immediately, again, we see a very nice professional portrait as the hero section. The gaze is right. Sean is facing this direction. We're looking at his name over here if we're following his gaze. And we pretty soon after that see this nice friendly text right here. Hi, I'm Sean. I solve knowledge and skill gaps through dynamic learning experiences. So we've got the header and the value propositions. You've probably seen this a lot by now if you're comfortable with this playlist. Very effective combo though. Oh, and again, this is another example of a one project portfolio. So if you're feeling overwhelmed by the idea of making a bunch of projects, don't be concerned. So one thing I do want to point out about Sean's site that is really well done is his attention to language. So solutions made mindfully. And I just know more about Sean's background. I know Sean came from like in the mental health space as well before teaching. So he's like incorporating his background a bit into the language he uses. Very well done. So he says, explore some of my recent work. And again, the language, such a great title for this. Even if this isn't the full title of the project, great heading to use. Prepare for liftoff, because we're going to go on a plane and try our hand at de-escalating angry customers. So, and subtle design choices. See, like this looks like so professional, but it's just like an image with like an overlapping like white box with some text and a button. But just like throughout, such intentional use of like spacing and padding. So really nice balance here, really good design, even, while still being very simple. Of course, we have the testimonials. The power of social proof. You've probably seen this on the last several of these portfolio reviews I've done. But this is it. This is the homepage. Very simple. Again, I was going to say maybe a call to action to contact Sean, but here, this is all we need: LinkedIn and email. So if you look at this homepage, there are very few elements. This was built with a Squarespace template, so it's not like this involved like custom coding or anything. This is something that you can get online very, very quickly with a simple template. So of course, it takes some time to work out the language, but this is the site. I mean, we can go to the About page, and once again, we're repeating that design element here with the image and the overlapping white box. We can learn more about Sean's story. We have a nice high-resolution photo of Sean and his dog, and a call to action to connect. We have we have access to his resume here. This is up to you if you decide to do this. I don't think it's absolutely necessary, but it couldn't really hurt. So here we go. We can see all of the education, the skills, the toolkit. Raul Fajardo had a similar layout in his portfolio. I reviewed that last week. If you want to see my thoughts on this, I won't repeat myself, but you could probably incorporate a more visual layout for this. But again, if you're trying to get something online quickly, something simple and fast, this works just fine. Probably wouldn't even need this section, honestly. But an About page is nice. The contact page, very simple, very templated, but also looks very professional. Notice Sean incorporates this, these professional like headshots and photographs throughout the site. That's a really nice touch if you're looking to freelance or land a full-time role. It helps people build a connection with you at scale because they're learning more about you just from perusing your site. Okay, now let's get into this project. Let's see, what does this one project portfolio take? What level does the project need to be at? The last couple of these portfolios we looked at that only had a single project were like some really intense, like Beyond projects with really nice animation. Probably would have taken a bit of time to create, and they did take a bit of time to create. But this is something that you can get online much more quickly. So when we land here, we have this nice like full screen header section with a link to experience the project. So we could dive right in. Before we do, I'm just going to quickly scroll down in case it is the first portfolio review you're seeing. These write-ups are very, very important. We need to know what your responsibilities were, which tools you used, and then we want to see some thinking behind your decisions, right? We want to see the process. We want to see all the deliverables that it took to get to this end product. This is how you show off, your thinking. And this is how you show off that you actually did the things you said you did. You aren't just showing someone else's work as your own. So hiring managers really love to see this. So make sure you have a write-up, but let's dive into the project and then we will say goodbye to this. Okay, so I'm going to restart the project. Destination de-escalation. So we're having some fun with the title. Can you navigate tough passenger situations and successfully land your flight? And that's the real challenge we have here, right? We need to, handle, deal with angry customers. Perfect type of project for these scenario-based, story-driven flagship projects like the one you're about to see. And then also just the colors. We have a nice color scheme. It seems like it's incorporated throughout like the whole background, the title, the button. Very nice use of color here. Here we go. First thing I'm striking is like the balance on this. So very nice spacing below and above, to the left and the right. Like some of these times you see these projects, it's like very cramped, like the letters are like right on top of the text. This does not have that problem. So this is a really good model to look at when you're trying to figure out how much space to use around your text, but within your rectangle. But here we go. Okay, experienced flight attendants warned us that dealing with real passengers isn't as easy as it is in training. Okay, let's see. We're noticing some unhappy faces among the passengers. So we have to handle any upset passengers and ensure everyone lands safely and happily. Okay, we can do it. So here we go. So nice use of animation. Notice how there's movement on all of these slides. Even though it's very simple, it's a background, character, and then a speech bubble. It feels very professional. It feels very polished, and the animations are very clean. So this is our flight leader who we can reach out to for help. Again, we use these mentor characters so that people can access that information when they want it. So there we go. We have that tooltip. Very nice animation there too. We have a sound effect and we are lifting off. So nice full screen kind of image and animation to set the scene. Definitely some immersion going on. That had a nice sound effect with it too. And here we go. We are about to face this upset passenger. So we have to find out what's wrong, calm him down, and avoid any interruption in the flight. And then we have this meter up above to gauge his level of distress. So the further it is to the right, the more distressed he is. The closer to the left, the happier he is. And if you're in the Storyline Project Lab and you like this kind of thing you're about to see, this is exactly what we do in project number 8. So it's a little complex, but shows off some really nice storyline development skills. Okay, and this is another thing I want to draw attention to. Look at the dialogue here. Sean, I could tell, had a lot of fun writing this dialogue, and that is one of the best parts about these projects. Finally, it's about time someone showed up. This airline is famous for on-time arrivals, and my experience couldn't be further from that. The flight attendants are just as delayed as their flights. So this customer is being so rude, so over the top, but that's what you can do with dialogue like this to make it more engaging. So the passengers are upset. What should we do? We could talk to the mentor. Or we could, maybe let's just say, hey, that upset me. We don't like that. Okay. We call over a different flight attendant. It's not worth the headache. I should have known you'd be just as unhelpful as the gate agents. This airline is full of people who don't want to solve issues. And then we can see the meter gets closer to angry. He's getting more frustrated. And we have to land the flight because it just gets worse and worse and worse. So nice way to, and here we go. We're even going to see our, so we didn't have to land the flight early. It's just, we got a bad review. But some of the consequences are so extreme that like we have to land the flight early. That probably happens if it goes all the way to distressed. So definitely check out this project for yourself if you're intrigued. Again, these are all like graphics you can get from a place like FreePic. Oh yeah, the customer says they will never fly with us again. Neither will the friends and family. So this is a really great project and website for inspiration for something that you can do quickly. Again, Sean did all of this in like a matter of months, and he landed a really strong role and like multiple offers before accepting that role. So this portfolio, highly effective, even though it only has a single project on it, and even though it's not using like Beyond or any like super fancy animation. So still takes some work, of course, and like attention to detail to get the visual design right, to get the script right. Again, you can make a very big impact with your writing. That's arguably one of the most important instructional design skills is the writing itself. But check it out. I'll link to the, some helpful resources for you in the description. Let us know where you're at in your ID journey, and we'll see if we can help. And if you'd like my feedback and support as well as that of my team, then check out the bootcamp. That's how we worked with Sean, and you can learn more about that at idbootcamp.com. So thanks for making it to the end. Looking forward to hearing your thoughts, and I will see you in the next video.